Night in Canada, brought to you by Imperial Oil and Esso dealers, agents, and distributors. Ford, the better idea company with better products for you. And by Molson's, brewers of Molson Export Ale and Molson Canadian Lager Beer.
Welcome to Hockey Night in Canada. From Maple Leaf Gardens, the Boston Bruins versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hello, everyone. Ward Cornell here. There's a real feeling of tension in the Gardens tonight. The Leafs have shaken up their lineup. Bobby Baun is ready for action, all in the hope that the team can end its four-game losing streak. The Bruins, meanwhile, swaggered into the Gardens tonight like the Dalton gang, with every intention of manhandling the citizenry. Should be a good one. We'll return with a look at the Boston Bruins in just a moment.
And now, Molson Canadian entertains. Cool, clear Canadian fits in with the action. When Molson Canadian's on the scene, it's so popular a party really takes off. So when it's your turn to entertain, make a big splash with all your friends. Choose Molson Canadian. It's the crowd pleaser.
The Boston Bruins are dominating the NHL scoring race, holding down 5 of the first 6 positions. Boston is first in the Eastern Division, and it's no wonder with the firepower these players provide.
Phil Esposito leads the scoring parade with 9 goals and 15 assists for 24 points. And if he keeps up this pace, he'll erase his own league record of 126 points. Pie-faced Johnny McKenzie's in second spot. He has 20 points. And Big Kenny Hodge has 19, and he's tied for third with Chicago's Bobby Hull. Veteran Johnny Busick is tied for 6th place with 16 points, 10 of them goals. He's tied with Bobby Orr, last year's scoring champion, who also has 16 points, which is tops for NHL defensemen. On defense, Ted Green is back, wearing a special protective headgear after missing last season with a skull fracture. Goalie Ed Johnson's off to an exceptional start this year, boasting a 1.25 goals against average. And he and Jerry Cheevers give Bruins more than adequate net minding. And Derek Sanderson sporting the first mustache in the league in 20 years.
Rookie coach Tom Johnson certainly has the Bruins off on the right foot. Hockey Night in Canada returns with the opening faceoff.
And now, Molson Canadian entertains. There's nothing more Canadian than snowmobiling. There's nothing brighter and more refreshing than a Canadian. That's Molson Canadian. So when it's your turn to entertain, jump up for a Molson Canadian Lager Beer. It's the crowd pleaser.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Bill Hewitt and Bob Golden in the gauntlet, Maple Leaf Gardens. They're your officials for tonight. That's Bill Friday, the referee number 3, and the linesmen are John D'Amico, number 9, and Pat Shetler is number 20. There you see the referee indicating the goal judge, and there the goalkeepers is Eddie Johnson in goal for the Boston Bruins. Defending the north end of my left, and it's Bruce Gamble, number 30, at the south end of my right. Starting for the Bruins at center ice is Phil Esposito. Kenny Hodge is on the right wing, and Wayne Cashman on the left. Dallas Smith and Bobby Orr on the defense. And from the face-off, Rick Lee brings it up for the Leafs, shoots it in. He's starting with Keon, McMillan, and Monahan. The puck is in the Boston zone. Cashman shot it around for Hodge. Hodge is covered by Monahan. Bobby Orr gets a hold of it. He has it behind the net, shot it over to Cashman, number 12. He tried to get it out, stopped by Keon. It comes to Monahan. Hodge stopped him before he could make a play, and Orr just flips it out to center ice. Cashman, number 12, at his own blue line. He has Hodge on the right. A long pass for Esposito was just offside, as you could see. Phil Esposito, number 7, just inside the blue line, and the face-off will come outside. Pass originating from the center red line, and that's where they'll face off. Keon against Phil Esposito. Cashman is a right winger, but he plays on the left side. Or to Dallas Smith, who moves up over center. Deflected by Esposito into the corner. After it is Rick Lee. He's given a jolt. The puck is cleared out to Keon. Keon straight down the left wing to his own blue line. Then McKinney at center. He's over the blue line. Wait, passes it for Keon. Keon tried to center it, and Bobby Orr back of the net. Orr trying to bring it out, being watched by McMillan. Orr pulls away from him at center. Up over the blue line. Knocked it into the corner. Took Rick Lee hard into the board. The puck goes loose for a second. Keon trying to make a play, and finally he's tied up, and we'll have a face-off in the Maple Leaf zone to the left. This game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Get the smooth taste you'll flip over. Molson Canadian. It's the crowd pleaser.
Bob, it's certainly good to see Ted Green out there on the defense now for the Bruins. This is our first time we've seen him since the accident.
Not only the first time we've seen Ted Green since his unfortunate accident, Bill, but this is the first time that Boston has been Hockey Night in Canada this year.
Right.
There's a good look at Ted Green with his new helmet on, Bill.
All set to go now for the face-off in the Leaf zone to the left. Elman out there with Henderson. McKenzie tried to get a shot, number 19. Henderson brings it back, 19 for the Leafs. Over for Guy Trache, number 11. Trache's ridden off into the boards. It's Trache picking it up in the corner again, trying to center it for Henderson. Ullman goes to the boards with it. Centering it in front, knocked down by Henderson. Henderson tried to center it. He's knocked against the boards by Green. Green has him propped there. Ullman comes up with it to Dory. Dory let his shot go. Ullman lets it go, and that hit a leg and went wide. Johnny Busick gets it ahead to Stanfield. Over here to McKenzie. Offside from inside the blue line, over the red line at center. And it's called back by linesman Pat Shetler. 18:15 to go in the first period. There's no score between the Boston Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's Fred Stanfield, number 17 at center. Busick is on the left wing, and McKenzie on the right, number 19. Green is playing on the defense along with number 26, Don Orey. Here's a chance for the Leafs. The shot by Selwood was wide. It's back of the net. Henderson centering it. Ullman let his shot go, and Trache just missed it. Back to Selwood. He shot it into the corner. It goes back of the net to Green. Green along the boards for McKenzie. McKenzie can't get out, and he's held there. And so far, Bob, the Leafs have been keeping the Bruins hemmed in their own end.
Bill, we see a change on that Leaf forward line with Trache moving in with Ullman. And there's a big cheer for Bobby Bond, who's making his first appearance in many, many years as a Toronto Maple Leaf with that familiar number 21 on his back.
Bond is playing on the defense with Rick Lee. It's Harrison, Ellis, and Darryl Sittler. Darryl Sittler getting a regular turn on left wing for the Maple Leafs. Derek Sanderson with Eddie Westfall on this right wing, and the puck is cleared in to Gamble. He shot around for Sittler. Sanderson took his man out, or handed it right to Sittler. Sittler, a long pass for Harrison. We had Bond mixing it up This Don Marcotte. It's cleared out. Vaughn is given a left side. As he and Marcotte bump together, Harrison and Marcotte then bumped. Here's Sanderson over the blue line for Boston. The Westfall, and he shot it 10 feet wide. The rebound to Dallas Smith. Hit Harrison. Vaughn knocks it down. Cleared it out over the blue line to safety to center. Dallas Smith then to Sanderson. Sanderson shoots the puck back in the lead zone. Campbell stops it. Flips it for Sittler, and Sittler straight down the left wing with Harrison. Takes the passer over the line. Harrison closing in with a shot. And he fired wide. Back for Westfall and Orr. Orr, he got a hefty shot by McLeod. And Vaughn takes it to safety to Ellis. Ellis stepped in to check Marcotte. And then Vaughn is knocked down from behind. There's going to be a penalty there to Westfall. And also Vaughn. So they'll be double penalties. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Choice. Choice. Choice is what great hospitality is all about. Choice is what Molson Pleasure Pack is all about. 12 Molson Canadian Lager beer and 12 export ale. Together in a money-saving pack. For your party, get the good choice in refreshment. Molson Pleasure Pack. It helps make parties popular.
Eddie Westfall, as you can see, going into the penalty box, followed by Bobby Bond for interference. Westfall for hooking, 3:28. Play has started. The teams are playing five-a-side. Mike Walton up with Monahan. Monahan closes in a shot. Eddie Johnson made a good save on that drive. Derek Sanderson at his own blue line. Up the center. Gets away from Monahan. Gets to the blue line and over. Marcotte waited. Dallas Smith to Orr. Orr gets away from Walton. Trying to get in front. Gets it for Dallas Smith. It went by him. Walton races after it. And he's dumped by Dallas Smith. Smith turns for Boston. And there's lots of enthusiasm in the Gardens tonight. Smith up over the leaf line, trying to cut in on goal. He was checked from behind, went after it. Dory got a piece of him. Monahan just gets rid of it after being hit by Sanderson, and Orr starts up. Orr to the leaf line, hit by Selwood, and Dory goes back. Dory lost possession in his own zone to Hodge. Hodge shoots. Campbell stops that. Dory comes back to Walton. At center, the pass to Walton, back to Dory, too far. It goes to the corner. Dory and Green. Green gets in to cover up. Green back of the net for Boston. Number 6 gets it over here to Hodge. He controls it with Esposito. Shot it over the line, only to have McMillan break it up, and he shot it to an open wing. Green after it, no score. First period, a shot right on. McKinney to Dory, number 8. Over to Keon, back to Dory. A pass ahead for McMillan at center. For Keon, it was behind him. Broken up by Boston. Kenny Hodge for Esposito behind him. Don Ory's shot hit McKinney. Now a pass for Keon. Keon trying to cut in. Goes to the corner. Skated off, back of the net. Keon kicked at it and got the puck, but Esposito was there. Esposito checked by Keon. Back on the ice come Vaughn and Westfall. Keon, a pass for Rick Lee, a shot. A nice save by Eddie Johnson on that shot. Knocked down by Lee again. He shot it in for Henderson, back of the net. Henderson trying to center it. Too well covered. Ory covers up along the boards and play is called. 14-12 to go in the first period. There's no score.
In the first intermission, Ward and I will have the highlights of the period. Jack Dennett will be along with the NHL tonight, and Ward will have as his guest Bob Bond. And young Sandy Hawley, who recently became the 4th jockey in history to ride more than 400 winners in a single season.
On the face-off, Henderson let one go, and then hit a stick and went to the corner. Green took Henderson out. Ullman trying to center it. Pache did. It's in front of the net. Eddie Johnson comes out and covers up for Boston. Penalty is called here on the play. Number 26, Don Ory. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
You know, to fully enjoy a Molson Export Ale, you don't have to catch that lucky brass ring. Some things are good enough on their own, without a lot of extra frills. Like the taste of a Molson Export Ale, always great. And isn't this what drinking beer is all about? Good friends and Molson Export. Export has a taste that stays great, and you can count on that.
Molson Export Ale. Keeps on tasting great.
Don Ory, number 26, is in the penalty box, and that gives the Leafs the man advantage, and there's the face-off. Orr with it, back of the net. Shoots it down the ice, and McKinney's going back. They're using Trottier with Ullman and Henderson. Walton, McKinney. McKinney starts out with a pass to Ullman. Up at center with Henderson. Over the line with Trottier, and Trottier was offside. And so far, Bob, in this first period, the Leafs have been carrying the play to the Bruins and trying to hem them in their own end.
They pretty well contained them, as you said, Bill. All the play has been in the Boston end up to this time.
There's no score in the game. The Bruins with Dallas Smith unable to get it out. Trottier moves in with a hard shot. That was grabbed nicely by Johnson. Ullman gets it back to the blue line to McKinney. He passed it behind Henderson, and Orr flicks it up the center ice. Taken by Derek Sanderson, Eddie Westfall. Westfall to Orr. Orr closing in. Takes the shot. Good! A perfect pass to Sanderson. And it's 1-0 Boston.
That's a fine play by Eddie Westfall here to Bobby Orr. And a move on Jim McKinney at this point. Sanderson standing right beside the post all alone. Nothing to do but pocket pass Bruce Gamble on that short side. A beautiful setup by Orr.
That's a real freeway passing play. Westfall over to Orr, back to Sanderson, and that was it.
Boston goal scored by number 16, Sanderson. Assist number 4, Orr, and number 18, Westfall. The time, 6:43.
That goal was scored with Ory in the penalty box, and he's still in there and has 1 minute and 8 seconds. The Leafs unable to get loose. They'll try it again offside. Harrison was trapped inside the blue line. 13 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the first period. 1-0 Boston. Harrison, number 12 at center. Ellis on the right wing and Sittler on the left. Sanderson, Westfall. Smith and Orr. Dory's pass was behind Harrison. Goes to Orr. Orr just shoots it out and down the ice. And it's Harrison going back for it. Left it there for Dory. Jim Dory. Out over his own blue line. A pass broken up by Westfall to Sanderson, and Brad Selwood was there. To Sittler. Over the line with Harrison. Back to Sittler. Took a shot, and Ellis missed it as he was left uncovered. Here's a chance for Sittler. There's his shot, and he blasted it wide. Dory moves up with a shot. Broken up by Orr. Orr breaks away down the ice with Sanderson. One man back to Orr. Orr and goalie shoots. Oh, and Campbell stopped that shot by Orr. Orr was right in. Stayed back into the Leaf zone again. Orr is getting set to return. He has 4 seconds. They're calling for a face-off down the ice. Orr is still on the penalty bench.
Bill, we're going to take a look at that play against Sanderson and Orr, and a beautiful save by Bruce Gamble as Orr is in cold. No one to beat him. Made a move to the outside. Bruce Gamble stayed on that corner and made a tremendous save. That puck just laying on the crease.
A little bit of a mix-up there, Bob, with the linesman thinking that Ory was back on the ice. He called it for icing, and so they're going to have it back at center. They go back to center ice for the face-off. And they draw. It goes back to Green. Green, number 6. Number 10, who was Rick Smith, was given a jolt. A shot down the ice again. This time it'll be called by Pat Shetler for icing. And the face-off goes into the Boston zone to the left. And the Bruins are leading the Leafs 1-0 as they scored while they were shorthanded. Three-way passing play, or picture play. Westfall crossing the blue line over to Orr. Orr seeing Sanderson uncovered right on the doorstep. Put it right on his stick, and he's whipped it into the net. Gamble is still looking for it. On the face-off, Boston Bruins. Out to center ice. Rick Smith's pass. Stanfield nearly got loose. Vaughn knocked it back. McKenzie to Stanfield, number 17. Stanfield takes the shot, puts it over the blue line, and McMillan's got it for the Leafs. McMillan shooting it to the blue line, but not out. Green lets the shot go. Gamble just saw it at the last second and covered up as the Bruins now are starting to show a little poise and carry the play to the Leafs. "11 minutes and 32 seconds to go in the first period. Boston leading Toronto 1-0. Rick Smith to Monahan. Stopped by Rick Smith. A shot right on. Stopped by Gamble. Rick Lee around on the boards for Monahan. He nearly handed it to Stanfield. Stanfield had it on his stick and it went over the glass.
There's Brad Selwood walking up and down behind that Leaf bench, Bill. I think he stopped the shot on his last shift out there.
And from the face-off, Rick Lee for Bill McMillan on the right side. He's poke-checked. Vaughn moves up. It's knocked into the Boston zone. Keon, a backhand is wide. It's off the boards for McKenzie. Stopped by Monahan, a backhand. Rick Smith has it. He hit the referee. Here's McMillan closing in. Kind of centered for Keon. It's in Monahan's skate. He didn't see it. He does at the last moment, but they jam up for a face-off in the Boston zone to the right. One to nothing is the score in favor of the Boston Bruins. Sanderson from West Fallenor is 6:43. Ryan Glennie out for the first time in the game. Number 24. Out there with McKinney, Ullman, Henderson, and Trottier for the Leafs. Esposito, Hodge, and Cashman for the Bruins. It's Orr, back of the net. Starting to bring the puck out himself to his own blue line. A pass at center ice for Esposito, broken up. Shot right back to Dallas Smith, and Dallas Smith shot it over the line. Knocked down by McKinney. And he brings it back with Trottier on his right, and Ullman. Offside is Guy Trottier, number 11 of the Leafs.
Mentioned before, Bill, Guy Trottier has moved on to that line with Normie Ullman and Henderson taking Ronnie Ellis's place, and Ellis has moved back to his position.
And from the face-off, it's Orr getting it ahead to Esposito. Esposito is covered by Glennie. Esposito flips it up along the board, stopped by Ullman. Ullman straight down the ice, over the blue line with Trottier. Henderson misjudged where he was going, and Esposito brings it back. Gives it to Hodge, over for Cashman, and it's McKinney getting it out, but nowhere near Ullman. Orr hit Ullman. Ullman stole the puck, closes in with a shot, a nice save by Eddie Johnson. And Orr a little upset with himself for giving that puck away.
Eddie Johnson is only his fifth start, and we see him on this replay making a fine glove save on Normie Ullman after he had checked that puck away from Bobby Orr, and Ullman's come in at a pretty good angle, but that left hand of Johnson's come out, and it showed why his goals against average is 1.25, Bill.
Yes, he played his angles perfectly on that one. And I guess, Bob, in that position, there's very little to shoot at when a goalkeeper can cut that angle off as well as he did.
Well, you know, the goalkeepers have got him figured pretty well, too, because, you know, you normally think that that angle that Ullman was coming in on may be going for the short side. Instead of that, he went for his glove side.
You just saw them fixing a chip in the ice with the dug out by a blade of a skate. They got it all fixed by putting some snow in it to freezes quickly. Puck is shot into the corner. It goes back of the Boston goal. Dallas Smith is there. Trottier has lost his stick, goes and picks it up. Dallas Smith trying to bring it out for Boston. Gets the puck to the blue line. McKinney back to Trottier. Trottier closing in with a shot that hit Orr. Orr fell in front of it. The puck is along the boards, and Esposito intercepted by Trottier again for Ullman. Too well covered by Orig. Orr back of the net. Got it around on the boards for Cashman. Cashman gets it out to center ice. Stopped there by Henderson. Henderson goes over the line with Trottier. Trottier a pass for Henderson, and that just failed to click. Orr trying to bring it out. Coming up to his own blue line with Esposito. Up at center. Over to the left side. Missed the body check. Gets his shot into the opposite side. And it's Henderson bringing it back. Over to McKinney. McKinney out over the blue line. Up to Trottier. Trottier flips the puck in wide of the Boston goal, and the Leafs are making a change with 8 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the first period. Bruins lead 1-0. Esposito to Orr. Orr's pass for Cashman is offside. Esposito came in behind him, but Cashman was at least 5 feet over the blue line.
Speaking of this Wayne Cashman, he's really one of the unsung Bruins. Really impressed last year's playoffs, Bill. And this native of Kingston, Ontario, had 5 big playoff goals, and he fitted in exceptionally well with Phil Esposito and Kenny Hodge.
I don't think too many people were aware of the fact that he was a right-hand shot playing on the left wing, and he certainly mastered the position. The puck is shot into the Boston zone. That's Marcotte bumping with Ellis. And picking it up is Don Ory, number 26. Ory, a back pass for Green. Green gets it up to Sanderson, broken up by Darrell Sittler. Sittler tried to get over the line. Ellis helping out, but it was knocked back to Marcotte. Marcotte down the left wing up over the Leafs blue line with Sanderson. Shot it across the goal mouth, and it ends up on Darrell Sittler's stick. Sittler up for Walton. Walton in with Ellis. Ellis takes the pass. He was going the wrong way. And to Sittler, a shot right on, and that was stopped by Johnson. And Walton stopped the puck. Vaughn lets his shot go. That hits Sanderson. Sanderson comes straight down the ice. Rick Lee took him out of the play. There's going to be a penalty to Lee. There's a shot by Westfall wide of the target. Along the boards. Leafs touch it. And it's a penalty to Rick Lee. This is Hockey Night in Canada from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
You know, to fully enjoy a Molson Export Ale, you really don't need a voyage to the bottom of the sea. Some things are good enough on their own, without a lot of frills. Like the taste of a Molson Export Ale, always great. And isn't this what drinking beer is all about? Comfortable surroundings and Export Ale. Molson Export has a taste that stays great, and you can count on that.
Molson Export Ale keeps on tasting great.
Rick Lee for holding at 12:20 is the time. Leafs will be a man short, and the Bruins will have their power play all ready to go. And what a potent power play they have out there at the moment. Esposito, Orr, Stanfield, McKenzie, and Busey. Well, they're 5 real big shooters. All set, and notice the Bruins are way inside the blue line. Orr and Stanfield. It comes to Stanfield. There's a screen shot. Gamble gloved it. He's going to hold it. There's nowhere he can throw it without having a Bruin player pounce on it, Bob.
They certainly blanketed that in on that power play, and I look at Stanfield back on that point, and every time I see him wind up, it reminds me of that shot that he hit Jock Font with in the playoffs last year.
On the face-off, McKenzie and Vaughn. Vaughn gets his check. It's Esposito along the boards. Vaughn gets the skate on it, and Bobby Vaughn has certainly been very strong on the defense for the Leafs. Of course, he's the defensive defenseman. All ready to go again. We have 1 minute and 47 seconds left in Lee's penalty. 7:27 remaining in the first period. The puck is loose. Shot by Dory out to center. That's Orr back for it at his own blue line. Over to Stanfield. Stanfield was partially checked by McMillan. And Phil Esposito. Over to Stanfield. Straight up at center. A long shot, way wide. McKenzie lets one go. Then it's Disick tipping it to Orr. Look out, there's a hard shot, and that one somehow missed the top corner. Laid down the ice by Mike Pellick. Number 4 is out there for the first time in the game, wearing the blue helmet with the white face mask. Back for Johnny Disick just after a terrific start this season for the Bruins. He gets over the line with McKenzie. Disick trying to feed it into McKenzie. Disick still fighting for it along the boards. Pellick gets there first. Pellick is knocked down. Disick fights for it again. He's got it to Orr. Here comes Orr's shot right on Gamble with Johnny McKenzie, number 19, standing right in front of him, and Gamble has been really strong.
Look at that one again, Bill. That point, puck being fed back to the point. Johnny Busick after a great effort here, and Bobby Orr with that big shot of his, but Gamble standing right up there, Johnny McKenzie trying to deflect that puck, but Bruce Gamble stopping that blast from the point off Bobby Orr's stick.
6 minutes and 27 seconds remain in the first period. 1-0 Boston. Boston with a man advantage as Monahan brings the puck out with Keon to center. Up over the line for Monahan. Monahan tried to go around Stansfield. He had, but he didn't know he had the puck with him. Otherwise, he was in. Stanfield coming straight down the ice now for Boston. Up with Esposito. Takes the pass, took a long shot wide. Monahan the rebound. He was hit by McKenzie, but in attempting to flip the puck, he shot it over the glass in among the spectators. 6 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the first period. 23 seconds left in Rick Lee's penalty for holding. The Bruins are leading 1-0, and they get the draw. It comes back to Stanfield, over to Busick along the boards. Busick gets it back to Stanfield. Back to Busick. Right in front to Esposito, went right over his stick, and Esposito couldn't believe it. Right over his stick. Keon shot, hit Orr on the ankle, and the puck goes to the boards. Orr shooting it to Johnny Busick. Dropping it back to Stanfield. Stanfield, as Lee comes out. Over to McKenzie. Up for Esposito, too far. A long pass is knocked into the Boston zone, and Dallas Smith gets a hold of it. Shooting it to Orr. Orr and Pache bump together. Orr's pass deflected to Busick to Esposito. Shot the puck in. McKenzie goes after it. Gamble off the glass. McKenzie jumped Monahan. There's going to be a tripping penalty here. A likely called interference as he wasn't anywhere near the puck. And McKenzie of Boston gets the gate, giving the Leafs the man advantage. And this is the 5th penalty of the first period, and the 3rd to the Boston Bruins.
John McKenzie
Boston
seems to
penalty
be...
to number 19, McKenzie. 2 minutes for interference. The time, 14:50.
Bill, I was going to say, Johnny McKenzie seems to be a particular target for the fans of Maple Leaf Gardens, but it's never bothered them that I've known of.
Never. I think that makes him play better. It goes down the ice. The Bruins shooting it down. They're short-handed. Mike Walton is back there for it. Walton still being watched by Westfall. Now he starts out with a pass to McKinney. McKinney to Guy Trache. Trache flipped it to an open wing, and Walton's got it again. Walton trying to get away from Sanderson. Up at center. Gets it over the line. Knocked it wide of the net. Rick Smith trying to hold it against the boards. Ullman dug it out. Sanderson then gets in ahead of him and shoots it down the ice. So far, the Leafs have not had a shot on goal while they have the man advantage. 1:17 left in the penalty. As Jim McKinney. Long pass for Henderson, too far. Knocked back at center. Westfall. Checked by Ullman. Lost it to Dallas Smith. Dallas Smith in the corner. Off the boards. And Westfall finds an opening, shoots it down the ice. And the Leafs go back for it again with 55 seconds left in the penalty to McKenzie. To McKinney. Up to Trache to Ullman. Ullman to Henderson offside. And the Leafs seem to be going in second gear at the moment as the forechecking has them a little bit off balance in this latter stages of the first period as the Bruins are leading 1-0. 44 seconds left in the penalty to McKenzie. 3:54 remaining in the first period. Bob? Ready to go. Sanderson with Westfall. Wrapping it off the board. Rick Lee is back. Brad Selwood is playing out there, so it's Harrison, Sittler, and Ellis. Ellis takes the pass. Sittler racing down the left wing. They're over the line together. A shot right in front of Sittler. Another shot by Ellis, and that just failed to click. It goes to Sittler, right trying to get it in front of the net. Ellis kicked it back to Rick Lee. Rick Lee is chased back to the blue line. Flipped it in, stopped by Rick Smith, who gets it out. Westfall goes after it, number 18. For Sanderson, broken up. Harrison, then to Ellis. Over the line with Sittler again. To Sittler, and he took a shot. Another shot, and that was stopped by Johnson. Laid around on the left wing. Stopped by Ellis to Brad Selwood. There's his shot. Dallas Smith knocked it down. McKenzie's loose and didn't get it to him. It hit his skate. And Gamble flipped it into the corner. Johnny McKenzie again trying to come out in front. Too well covered. Rick Lee coming up the center. Pass to Sittler. Over the line with Harrison. Harrison going in and goal. And he failed to put it in the empty net as he had it right behind Eddie Johnson. Here's right but to Selwood a shot. That ends up in the corner. Sittler rapid forward. It hit Harrison's skate. Harrison didn't move. And therefore it's going to be a goal.
We're going to take a look at this again, Bill, and we can judge for ourselves here. On that pass out from the corner, Jimmy Harrison being checked, it definitely went off his left skate. Now, whether he made a move with his foot or not, here, we'll take a look at it again. Let's see if we can pick it up here on that. Watch his left skate here on the point of that crease as the puck comes out right off his heel.
Toronto goal scored by number 12, Harrison. Assist number 27, Sittler, and number 3, Selwood. The time, 17:22.
17:22 was the time of Jimmy Harrison's goal. The puck goes to Gamble to Bond. Gets it up to McMillan to Keon with Monahan. Shot it into the Boston zone, and Green is back for it. He flipped into the corner to Wayne Cashman. 2:15 remaining in the first period, a 1-1 tie. Cashman shot the puck in. Stopped by Dory. Dory off the board. Back to Dory again. He flipped it around on this side for Monahan. Monahan just gets rid of it. It bounces loose. McMillan is covered. Then Cashman hands it to Keon. Keon to Dory. Dory then to Keon. Up for Monahan. Monahan breaking in on the left wing. Gets his shot away, and he missed the target. Horry goes to the boards, giving it to Wayne Cashman, 12. Cashman takes over at center ice with Esposito on his left. They're over the blue line. A drop pass for Hard. Green keeps it in, number 6. Made his move past Monahan. Centered it out in front. Hodge the shot. And Gamble somehow got his skate in the way of that. Dory shoots it up into the crowd for a face-off. This game is coming to you from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Export, Pete. Export ale has a taste that stays great brew after brew. And you can count on that.
A minute and 18 seconds. Spectator caught on top of the head. Just taken out through the exit on the west side of the Gardens. Here's a long pass up at center. Broken up by Busick, number 9, who shot it back into the Leaf zone. Stanfield and Dallas Smith, a hard shot over top of the net. Johnny McKenzie back for Orr. Orr had moved up.
Last minute
pass
of
for
play
McKinney.
in this period.
McKinney had it hop over his stick. He's checked by Busick. Less than a minute to go in the first period. Busick failed to get around Rick Lee. McKinney's pass for Trottier. For Henderson, offside. 46 seconds remain in the first period. It's a 1-1 tie. Sanderson's third of the year from Westfalen Orr at 6:43. And for Jimmy Harrison, number 5 of the season, from Sittler and Selwood at 17:22. So we have a 1-1 tie going in this first period of hockey. And good hockey it has been. Back up for Rick Lee at center. Shoots the puck into the Boston zone. Orr, number 4, is back there for it. He's watched by Ullman. Ullman trying to center it. Orr falls down, and there's no further play. Faceoff will be in the Boston zone to the right. Ullman, Henderson, Trottier. Now then Ellis comes up on the right wing, replacing Trottier. McKinney and Program went over the boards onto the ice, so they pick it up. That's linesman John D'Amico. Goes back to Orr. Orr takes his time ahead for Stanfield. Stanfield is given a bump. It goes out over the blue line of the center, and Rick Lee rifles it back. Out by Ellis. Ellis hit by Busick. Stanfield gets away from Ullman. Stanfield taking his time, drops it to Orr, and Orr, with 9 seconds remaining, got it over for Stanfield. Stanfield with 4 seconds over the line, trying to get his shot away. Back in the net to McKenzie, hit the mesh. Centers it as the bell goes to end a very well-played first period. And from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, Hockey Night in Canada.
You know, to fully enjoy a Molson Export Ale, there are a lot of things you really don't need, like taking on the right Barrett, or zooming around like this, or flying through the air with the greatest of ease. Some things are good enough on their own, without a lot of frills. Like the taste of a Molson Export Ale. Always great. Nearly 200 years of brewing know-how sees to that. And isn't this what drinking beer is all about? Comfortable place, good friends. And Molson Export Ale. Export has a great taste. It stays great. Brew after brew, and you can count on that.
Molson Export Ale. Keeps on tasting great.
Well, a good period of hockey, very fast in the first 10 minutes, then slowed down a bit, picked up in the last 2 minutes. Sanderson got the Bruins ahead at the 6:43 mark on a goal, and Harrison evened it up for the Leafs at the 17:22 mark. It's 1-1. Well, our next guest is no unfamiliar person. He was a Leaf. He's been with a couple of other teams since then. He's now back in the league, one of the great defensemen in the National Hockey League, Bobby Bond. And Bob, nice to have you back in the garden.
Thank you, Ward. You know, it's nice to be home. It's just like old home week, seeing all your friends, and certainly the many fans over the years. They seem to have turned out tonight, and it feels good.
Give you a nice welcome.
Yes, very nice.
Bob, let's just talk about the events, really, of the last few days, because it must have been very confusing for you, sometimes disheartening and so on.
Yes, well, after 14 years, you like to feel you're a little bit stable in mind and body, and sometimes not in body, but certainly stable in mind as to what you're going to do in the hockey world. But a turn of events took place 2 weeks ago, and it really upset the Bond household, and we've been trying to get our thoughts straightened away just to what we should be doing.
Well, now, Bobby, after the Leafs-Detroit game on the Sunday night, you went to practice the next day, and the first incident was what?
Yes, my sweater was given to Larry Brown, a young defenseman that was traded from New York Rangers to the Detroit Red Wings, and he had my number 4, and I had a black sweater, so I figured there could be something in the wind.
Well, but you still didn't hear anything.
No, I didn't hear anything then, except I did have a rumble from Toronto from an old friend that said that I'd been put up on waivers and that I should know something definite Tuesday. But Tuesday came along, and there was really not too much definite. I was told by the coach, Ned Harkness, that I was coming to Toronto, and I was quite elated. But 2 minutes later, Baz Bastine, Sid Abel's assistant, told me I was going to Buffalo, and my old coach and mentor, and as many people know, Punch Imlock is in Buffalo, and somehow I felt I wasn't going to go to Buffalo, and that there should be something else going. So I didn't hear much till about 5 o'clock that evening, and I received a call from Punch sounding a bit like a big tomcat with a canary in his mouth, that he had made a deal for me with St. Louis, and that I would be hearing from Scotty Bowman. So that was my Tuesday past, or 2 weeks ago now, and that started the hectic time.
Then you went to St. Louis, and you practiced with the team, then you got permission to leave, right?
Yes, and I was supposed to be playing against the Red Wings this past Thursday evening, and Scotty phoned me Wednesday night in Detroit, where I was at my home doing a bit of business prior to the game, and he told me not to bother going to St. Louis, that he had something else cooking. So we sat on the hot seat again for 24 hours.
Bob, just one question before we wrap it up here. Did you get some help from people on the phone? Like, you must have been a little depressed about what was happening.
I was, but I had many friends here that, or not many friends, but you have 2 or 3 stalwarts that you always call. And I must say, Mr. Campbell, the president of the National Hockey League, was terrific, and he helped me through this whole thing, and I must say that he was just terrific, and we finally got straightened away.
And you're back here and with hopes of helping the team.
Yes, I hope so.
Thank you very much, Bob Bond. Nice to have you back. And nice to have Jack Bennett here with the NHL tonight.
Thank you, Ward. Well, we have lots of great games on tonight, but unfortunately, a singular lack of scoring up to this point. California or Golden Seals are playing in Pittsburgh tonight. That's the only other game in the Eastern time zone, incidentally. Montreal is in St. Louis. This could be a dandy game at the Chicago Stadium, where the Rangers are the visitors. And, of course, that first-year wonder club, the Vancouver Canucks, are getting a great support from the West Coast fans. They're at Bloomington, Minnesota, playing against the North Stars. Hockey fans over in Germany are going to have an opportunity soon to see some of our greatest former hockey stars in action, because the Leafs Old Timers Club, which is still very active, will leave at the end of this month to play in Germany, and making the trip some very illustrious names: Wally Stanowski, Sid Smith, Harry Watson, Danny Lewicki, Barry Cullen, and of course a full complement of players who just a few years ago were the high-priced talent in the NHL. And incidentally, this same group will be playing the Montreal Canadiens Old Timers next February here at the Gardens, sort of to refill the coffers of the Charlie Conacher Cancer Research Fund. You know, last summer at the Hockey Hall of Fame banquet, Conn Smythe made the comment, Canada's two greatest professional athletes this year are Bobby Orr and Sandy Hawley. Now, some of you may not know too much about the latter. Well, Bobby Orr is with us in the game tonight. You certainly noticed that. And Sandy Hawley, only one of the jockeys in history, I think it's only one of four in history to ride more than 400 winners in a single season, talked with Ward before tonight's game.
Sandy, how many wins are you at now?
Well, I'm at 413 right now.
You had how many today?
I win 2 races today.
Oh, that's good, eh? What is the record?
The record's 485. It's held by Willie Shoemaker.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you got a pretty good chance of breaking it?
Well, I was talking to my agent the other day, and he mentioned to me that we have a good chance of breaking the record, and he figured out how many wins we had to have at each day, and it looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So you'll be racing here in Canada pretty well up to the end of November, and then where?
Yeah, I'll ride here till December the 5th, and then I'll go down to Florida and ride at Tromsø.
Mm-hmm. Now, home is where?
Well, I was born in Oshawa, Ontario.
Now, how did you get into the racing business?
Well, I guess it was mostly my uncle who took me to this farm called the National Stud Farm. It was in Oshawa, and I was introduced to a trainer called Duke Campbell. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Campbell took me to the racetrack, and ever since then he's been teaching me, and I've been coming along.
How old were you then?
I was 16.
So you've been in the business 5 years.
Yeah.
What's the most important skill for a jockey?